Welcome back, Stormtroopers. Bryant Cook, and today we are playing one of my favorite Pauper decks, Cycle Storm, a deck that we've actually played quite a bit here on this channel, including a challenge that I recorded about 3 weeks ago when this will go live, where I took second place in the challenge. And well, let's be honest, there's not a whole big reason to change this deck list. This deck list was very, very good to me. But at the end of the event, I did want to try out a couple things. So leading up to that event, I played in a league where I lost playing for 5-0 to Slivers because my deck was just slightly too slow. And then in that challenge, I lost to Bogles because they were on the play and had a turn 3, and there's not a whole lot that I can do about that. So I mentioned trying Darkness. And here Darkness is the Black Fog. That's what this card is. It's just Black Fog. And we were playing that over the Duress, and that's a metagame call. Duress is really good in combo mirrors, but I don't recommend it for blue decks. Against blue decks, you have Dispel and Pyroblast. You force them to invest mana, and then you counter. Well, if Duress isn't seeing a lot of play because there's not a lot of combo in the metagame in general, so why are we playing this combo hate card when I could be playing a card like Darkness for all of the big aggro decks? And it just makes a lot more sense. So we lost the 2 copies of Duress and then the 3rd copy of Fairy Macabre. And that's because the Mogwarts, the Goblin Graveyard combo deck, has fallen a little bit out of favor, but I still should probably respect it. So we are playing 2 copies of Fairy instead of 3. That's the deck list. Those are the changes from that challenge video. And actually, card above, go click that, or maybe it's this finger. There we go, card above. Click that. That will be the showcase challenge where I do a little bit more of an in-depth deck tech if you need that. But if you don't, like, comment, subscribe. You know, I show all the time. You should just do it. Like, comment, subscribe. Free things to do. Help support the channel. Get us into the YouTube algorithm. Why wouldn't you want to do that? If you're watching this, you clearly want to support us. Just like, comment, and subscribe. That's it. That's all you have to do. But if you want to go to that next level, click the join button. You can become a member there. Badges, emotes, cyborg guides, donation decks, we've got it all. Definitely check it out. And then if you want to support us in any other manner, you can go directly to theepicstorm.com/shop to submit your combo deck to be featured here on this very YouTube channel. You can also, I think I said shop. It's donation decks. Theepicstorm.com/donation decks. Now we have theepicstorm.com/shop where we have card singles and Sweet Storm merchandise, including our mini token pack that will help you cycle your way to victory with all of this mana and storm. All right, that's my intro. I fucked it up like 4 times. I'm sorry. But round number 1's coming up. Don't go anywhere. I promise you this league will be sweet. Let's go. Round number 1, and we are on the play. I did not bother to look up what our opponents are playing because, well, I don't feel like it. And this hand is a keep. It'd be better if the Barrenmoor was a swamp, because then we get that little bit of extra speed, but we'll take a turn off. It's not the end of the world. Then probably cycling the Ash Barrens for Island, and then we have 3 cyclers that we can cycle off Island as well. Alright, so Mountain usually punishes us for having a tap land. Burn. Okay. Because we just basically lost the ability to cantrip. Alright, well, we do have Reaping the Grave, so I think what we want to find at this point is just mana. So we want to find Cabal Rituals, Songs of the Damned, that sort of thing. Our opponent has suspended a Rift Bolt. And a Chain Lightning. I would not like to copy. Alright, so on their end step, we are going to cycle an Architect of Will. Draw Street Wraith. A little bit risky here. I'm going to cycle Architect, looking for land number 3. And we hit it. I'm just going to play this out instead of cycling it because we need to just velocity at this point because we're pretty close to death. Especially if I want to cycle this Street Wraith at some point. Alright, we need Cabal Ritual or Songs. Teachings, okay. So right now that if we teachings for Songs, it's actually a break even on mana. And that's assuming that we cycle the Street Wraith, so not quite good enough yet. So this Rift Bolt can put us to 11. Sort of hoping that our opponent just like plays a 2-drop here and doesn't try to burn us so that way I can safely cycle the Street Wraith. Alright, so they have land number 3. Alright, well they hit Needle Drop, so if they have Burn Spell, Pyroblast, I'm dead. Stinger, okay. That gives me the out to Cycling Street Wraith. You have to play around Pyroblast. Alright, draw. There's a songs, that's good. Cycle. We get one more Cycle of Street Wraith that's free before we die to Pyroblast. I'm not sure what's taking our opponent so long here. Maybe they're unfamiliar with our deck and they're just reading everything. Alright, so that was a reasonable draw. Cycle this. We always have the Blood Celebrant to create blue for the teachings. So I'm allowed to cycle this and go to 6. But the next one I would cycle puts me at, you know, possible death. And I get 1 use on Blood Celebrant. Alright, so we can create some Storm here. Plenty of Petals. Storm is pretty low. I can't help but wonder if I should maybe teachings for, what's it called? Ploy, because then I can cycle the Street Wraiths for free. Alright, so if I get Ploy here... Yeah, like, what if I just don't win here? Is that crazy? It's probably crazy. So... Maybe this play wasn't good. I don't know. We'll gain a few life off this. But not enough to keep me alive. Probably want to draw like a Cabal Ritual or something off this, or another Songs. Or maybe I should just flashback the Ploy. It's kind of risky though, because if I don't hit a Dark Ritual off it, or a Cabal Ritual, this Reaping the Graves becomes really bad. But we're at 39 cards in deck and we've only seen 1 ritual effect. Just not sure what to do here. I think I'm going to play it safe and cast Ploy. I'm going to regret this. And I hit the Songs. What a lucky duck. Okay. Did I do that right? Blood Celebrant. Because we can't cycle that. So then Street Wraith, Street Wraith. We're targeting Street Wraiths because you can cycle them for free, which allows you to dig deeper for more mana. Because when you cycle like this, all of your creatures are still in the graveyard. So you're looking for Songs because it gives you the... you can theoretically make the most mana possible with the Songs of the Damned. That's the idea. So we finally are starting to hit mana, and there's that Songs, but we have some mana floating, so we're going to cycle, just looking for more creatures to put in the graveyard. You'll notice how we're keeping the creature count high right now. That's the idea. Okay, cycle. Now we're hitting all the rituals. Cycle. Cycle. Just keep cycling. And a lot of these draws are free because the Songs will make up for it in the end. Because all these creatures just replace themselves. Alright, the Blood Celebrant has come home. I don't really see the need to... I don't know, maybe I could just win from here instead of goofing around. Yeah, it's probably just better to try to win the game. Alright, let's just return some Stingers and win. Return our creatures. So you might be watching this going like, you played so poorly and you got lucky by drawing these Songs off of the Dihada's Ploy. Yes, that said, I made a calculated risk. We had only found 1 ritual effect up until that point, so it was actually fairly probable that we ended up hitting one there. Did I expect to hit Songs? No. Like, that was lucky. But honestly, I would have been happy with Dark Ritual or Cabal Ritual as well, because at that point, I could just cast Reaping the Graves and pass the turn. We just happened to hit the one that allowed us to win this turn instead. So like I was slightly rewarded. I'm not going to pretend that that's not the case, but I think playing to stay alive there was slightly better than like trying to Reaping the Graves with like barely any mana floating. We're at 14. Why not play another Stinger? All right, cycle. Killing people with dinosaurs. Cycle this. And cycle that. Woot woot. Alright, game number 1. We achieved it over burn. Let's bring in these ploys. And I like boarding out Tolarian Winds here. And then like maybe one Street Wraith. With more Street Wraiths, the ploys actually get better. Or more ploys, Street Wraith gets better. So like you could also consider boarding out Teachings, but I don't think that's the best idea. You could also maybe board out an Architect. But I think the real answer is probably just board out one Street Wraith. And you might be thinking like, well, burn plays lots of instant and sorceries, maybe you should board in Dispel. That is true. Our opponent's also probably siding in Pyroblast, which can hurt us. I'm not going to pretend that that's not true. But that's not really the game plan that you want to be playing. You want to be a proactive deck that wants to just achieve your goals. And if you board in things like Dispel, you're going to draw them on your combo turn, and that's going to make your deck weaker. There's a lot of risk involved. So you don't really want to dilute your deck too much. Where here, we're swapping out one card that kills us and can be a liability, and then a similar effect for something that's fairly good in the matchup in Ploy. Okay, so this hand seems fine to me. We only have one creature cycler and no Reaping the Graves. But we have a swamp, so we can actually cycle the Horror on turn 1, and then we have these Barren Moors that we can convert. I think that this is actually fine. Alright, another ritual. We want to cycle into creatures and then eventually Reaping the Graves here. Sure. Cycle. There's Reaping the Graves. We want to find creatures now. Calculated risk. I'm going to burn a ritual so I can cycle these Barren Moors looking for more creatures. There we go. Okay, Ploy. I'm going to cycle this Barren Moor. Okay. Pass the turn. No need to play out like Lotus Petal or anything like that, because this is Storm Count for a Reaping the Graves. I don't want to sacrifice that Storm Count. Needle Drop, you got it. Okay, we're at 17. One has 5 cards in hand. Spike. Pinging us, and it hurts. We're at 13. This Alchemist is doing damage. We have 3 cards in hand. We could just be dead next turn. Might want to try to do something here with this Ploy. Draw. Alright, Dark Ritual. This is going to be the 6th spell in the graveyard. Or 6th card in the graveyard, I should say. So now we can Cabal Ritual. Now we get to cycle these. Cycle. And we want to get fairly low so that way the Songs of the Damned can make more mana. Another Reaping the Graves. Okay. So we can Songs here. 7 mana. And we could bring back... So this is an interesting decision here. So I can Reaping the Graves and bring back 5 creatures, or I can Ploy... Okay, I actually think I found a better solution. Let's Ploy, and then Reaping, and then I can cycle twice before this resolves. It's like a nice middle ground here. Stinger, then the Architect. So we're getting to return everything. And cycle this to see if we can hit a Songs. We're probably not going to, but... Okay, I'm going to keep that around. We're going to end up passing the turn here. Ooh. Okay, wish that was the previous draw. I guess I could hit untap source off this Ploy, so we're not necessarily passing. Alright, well, we're passing now. Probably discard this Teachings. We don't have any blue mana. Maybe I keep it around, though, in case we had a Lotus Petal. Tough call. I just don't know if the blue mana is better then casting another Ploy maybe. I think it's probably this teachings that needs to go. We're back at 17. 8 cards in hand. We're going to have to discard. Discard this Architect. Alright, opponent's on 4 cards in hand. 3 cards now. Alright, Chain Lightning, sure. Nope. Alright, so they can ping us back to 11. Bolt, okay. What's the last card? If it's Pyroblast, that means that another burn spell next turn kills me. Draw. Alright, we're gonna cycle. Maybe or cast another Ploy. Let's start off on cycling a little bit before I cast this Cabal Ritual. Okay, so now I have to play the Ritual. It's actually kind of risky to cycle the Street Wraith because if their last card is Pyroblast, I'm dead. Well, it seems like we're safe at 7 because the Street Wraith brings us to 5. The Pyroblast would then untap the Alchemist and then they could kill me off that. Alright, so we're looking for a blue source for this Ploy. Not quite. Come on, deck. And that is a Songs. I'll take it. Cycle. Don't want to play that yet. I'm going to cycle the Barrymore going down to 1 mana. And there's our blue source. Okay. I can't help but wonder if I'm supposed to flashback the one from the graveyard rather than cast the one in hand. Because it would gain an extra life this way. We're going to gain a bunch of life here. I think I'm supposed to discard the Ploy because we have enough mana for me to cycle the Street Wraith now. Or enough life for me to cycle the Street Wraith, I should say. And they're on 1 card in hand. Alright, so I could flashback Teachings right now for Songs. I just don't know how much mana that's going to make. So I'm sorry, I'm going to be a pain in the butt here and actually count my creatures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's gonna make 10 mana. So essentially it makes 3 mana. I don't really want to burn a Songs for 3 mana. I'm gonna cycle here. No blue mana. Okay, so I'm gonna hold this swamp still. And let's return some creatures. I'm going to put it back to the way that makes me more comfortable. Alright, so now we can return some stuff. I'm going to return Street Wraiths because they're free cyclers. Wraith. Wraith. Okay, 6 creatures coming home. 27 cards in deck. We've used 2 songs already, so we have 2 left. Alright, let's go to 11. 9. Alright, I'm going to draw the other Street Wraith. So this is going to bring me to 7. So if we miss here, there's a chance that I'm just dead. Not feeling too good about this anymore. I might as well cycle here. See if I can hit off this Architect. Yeah, we might have fizzled. It doesn't do anything anymore. Yeah, I fizzled. There's a chance that I'm dead now. Alright, so I think maybe we just go get the island out of the deck here. Pray that I'm not dead. And discard like one of these creatures. I think I want to keep this Teachings around. Alright, am I going to get punished, opponent? Do you have Pyroblast Burn spell? I'm at 6. That's a Rift Bolt. I'm at 3. 2. And Pyroblast. There you go. Alright, so we did in fact get punished. It happens. I'm not going to beat myself up over that. Alright, so going to game number 3 now. I don't think I'm going to change anything. I'm just going to resubmit. I could have not have cycled the Street Wraiths and stayed at a higher life total. But the thing is, when your storm count is that high, it's really hard to rebuild with this deck. Because your deck is half cycling creatures. So you might be thinking like, well, you can just like pass in the next turn, go off again, but you have to generate that storm. And you might be thinking, well, that doesn't matter when your songs makes 20 mana. That's not true, because even when so you songs into Reaping the Graves, that gets back like your stingers, but then you have nothing to cycle. That's the downside, because you actually need the storm count in order to win. So it wasn't that I was being reckless, it was that I was thinking big picture. Okay, the third game, and we are on the play. This seems fine to me. Probably going to go get the island again off the Ash Barrens, but we have the same problem that we did in game number 1, where this Baron Moor comes into play tapped. This deck's so much fun to play. It really is. And if you already own Lotus Petals, it's fairly affordable. You might look at the Goldfish deck list in the description below and say that it says like it's like 127 tickets or whatever, but like 110 tickets of that is Lotus Petal. So if you already own Lotus Petals, this deck is dirt cheap. Okay, first turn, go to our main phase, play Baron Moor and pass. I'm a little bit concerned that we're essentially wasting our first 2 turns cycling. I could choose not to cycle the Ash Barrens, but it burns me later on if I draw into our blue card. So I have to choose right now between consistency and speed. That's the big choice here, because we do have 3 copies of Dihada's Ploy in our deck, and then we have 2 copies of Mystical Teachings. Do I want the island for those, or do I just want to start cycling our creatures? All right, suspend Rift Bolt. And I think I'm going to choose consistency. I'm going to go get that island. And I can just cycle a Stinger. Looking for rituals at this point. All we want are rituals and creatures. I guess I'd take a 3rd land next turn. Rift Bolt. Mountain. Sure. Cycle. That wasn't awful. Draw. Alright, we need to pass. Next turn's probably go time. Assuming that we do get another turn. Alright, so our opponent at their worst can go attack for 2, put me to 15, triple 1 mana burn spells, plus Pyroblast, and that would be lethal. So let's hope they don't do that to me, because that would not be cool. Alright, so you started off on a burn spell. That was the right path. 4 more cards left in hand. Technically, I think a Needle Drop would do it instead of one of the 1-for-3s. There's a Chain Lightning, okay. I mean, if you got it, you got it. Just burn me out. Our opponent missed their attack step. Okay, I'll take the charity. But it's go time for us. We're going to have to try to win here. So this is the 5th card to the graveyard. We're going to need to get up to 7 for this Cabal Ritual. If I go Petal Healer, that would actually be... I wonder if Healer's reasonable here. Because then I would need to hit off these, though, or else it's just like it's a little bit of a wasted effort. I don't hate it. That is 7. Alright, Healer, do your thing. I'm dumb, because I should have Cabal Ritualed first, because they can burn the Healer now. I got away with it there. That was a bad move. I should know better than that. Alright, up to 11. I'm sorry, we'll be up to 11. Cycle. And we're kind of priced into casting Reaping the Graves here. Unless I draw a ritual or a land. Let's play this land as a colorless land, and then I can cycle the Imposing Vantasaur off it, because then I can still cast Reaping the Graves. Alright, up to 12. Alright, now we can return 5 creatures. Alright, Stinger coming home. I think we want to do Stingers and then Horror of the Broken Lands. Actually, probably want 1 Vantasaur because it cycles for colorless. Can our opponent kill us from 12? I have a feeling that they might have boarded in like Red Elemental Blast or Pyroblast and they're sitting on that. Problem is that they're up to 4 cards now. Cycling Forgotten Cave. Okay. 3 cards. Am I supposed to block? I think so. Alright. Like, I'm almost convinced at this point that they're sitting on Pyroblast. So I think instead what I might do is, like, maybe Ploy in their upkeep or something. Okay. Opponent has 3 cards. Upkeep. I guess I can cycle one of the Horror of the Broken Lands because they're more difficult to cycle, so I should use this mana while I can and cast Ploy to see if they do have a Pyroblast in hand. Would make sense based on them not doing anything this game. Sometimes I hate being right. Alright, so they're up to 3 cards again. On our next turn, we can cast Ploy from the graveyard. But I wouldn't be shocked if they just had another. Alright, cycle this. I was supposed to cycle that off the Ash Barrens. Whoops. It's fine. Alright, cycle the Architect. And I'm going to discard the Street Wraith because I do feel like they might have another Pyroblast and I can't afford to lose life here. So this would gain 4 life, I believe. And they've decided to use their other Pyroblast, which, like I said, wouldn't be shocked if they did it. They did it. Like, if you think about what your opponent's been doing when they have 3 or 4 cards in hand and they haven't been burning you, you need to think about what they would have. And something like Red Elemental Blast or Pyroblast makes a lot of sense. Okay. Skewer, sure. 2 cards in hand. We're at 9. Cycle Stinger here. I could have Mystical Teachings for songs, but we don't have that many creatures in the graveyard yet. Let's cycle this. Alright, I'm gonna count again. We have 14 cards in the graveyard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana it would make. I don't even think it's that good right now. Let's cycle the Architect. Alright, so I think we're probably going for it here. Alright, so now we can Mystical Teachings, go get songs, cycle Stinger, and then cast songs. Oh, they have a 3rd. That's backbreaking. Alright, that burned me a little bit right there. Let's cycle the Stinger. And I'm just going to cycle the Barrymore. I could play it because that would give me 6 lands to Flashback Teachings next turn, but I just want to get deeper into our deck. That hurt. I did not think they had the 3rd one. Alright, so we're at the magic number of 9. And why that's the magic number is our opponent has 1 card in hand. Ooh. Because even if they do a second Fire Blast next turn, it doesn't kill me. Tough spot right now. So I can play Celebrant and then cast Healer, but I am dead to exactly Fire Blast, Fire Blast. I could also burn the Petal, and that would keep me safe. This probably works. Yeah, and then I'm going to Reaping the Graves for only 4, and we're just going to play a value game at this point. Return Horror of the Broken Lands. We might honestly cast one of these horrors, who knows? Return another Healer. Stinger. Stinger. What a game, by the way. Like, this has actually been a pretty good match. And we're just doing Healer Value Town at this point. I think our plan is to just gain a bunch of life and attack. Alright, they burned our Healer. Jerk. Ooh, can't stop it. Healer's coming to town. All right, so we're gonna go to 7 here. Play another healer. Cycle up to 9 life. And get in there. We're an aggro deck. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Blood Celebrant bringing it home. All right. So they have 1 card in hand. They could hard cast a Pyroblast at something. And we're going to make another white here. Healer Beatdown, just as Richard Garfield intended. I think Smite Healer was an alpha. I can't remember right now, but it was early. I know that much. All right, and look at us. We're just healing salving every turn now. Richard, he'd love this. Cycle. Get in there for 5. Firebrand Archer, you got it. All right, draw. We have 4 minutes left on the clock. Songs of the Damned. Teachings. Go get Reaping the Graves. Petal. Cast Reaping. Get back these Stingers. This is going to be for 4. So Stinger, Healer, Venusaur, I guess. It doesn't really matter. We have 4 minutes. I just need to be quick here. Filter for red. Stinger. Filter for red. Stinger. Filter for white. Healer. Cycle. Gain a bunch of life. Alright. 3 minutes. 4 minutes really. Cycle. Alright. Pop this. Cycle. Look at that. So much life. Get in there. Their goal at this point is to just time us out, but we're not going to time out with 3.5 minutes left. Okay. Just human beatdown. Look at this. We're human clerics. We just had 5 human clerics in play. Now we're down to 4, but our entire deck is humans. And to prove that point, let's cast an Architect of Will. Also a human wizard. This is just me memeing at this point. You can have 2 lands on top. Get in there. That's my first time ever hardcasting an Architect of Will. I would just like you to know that. And we are 1-0. Human beatdown. That's what I would like you to call this deck from now on. Hope you enjoyed match number 1. That was a blast. I really do think that was a great match. I'll see you in match number 2. Match number 2, and we are on the draw, and we've opened up a stellar hand. We're going to keep this. F6 and let our opponent do their thing. Forest. Elves? I mean, that's a little bit of a weird main deck inclusion, but I've seen it before. Could be like mono green aggro, but this is usually an elf card. Yeah, it's a weird elves draw by the looks of it. Just going to play this land out. Yeah, this is not a very good elves draw. In fact, this might be one of the worst elves draws I've ever seen in this format. Yeah, this is just... I'd be ashamed to open up this hand. It's so bad. Alright. Let's cycle the Dino. Just keep cycling. All 4 Street Wraiths in hand. We're going to need to find a Reaping the Grave soon. Alright, Quirion Ranger. They've already played a forest, so returning a forest doesn't do a whole lot here. And they're going for the beatdown plan. That's strange, instead of just attacking. Well, they can do 2 damage if they return a forest, so maybe they're trying to get me by surprise. But we could also gain some life with this Ploy here. Okay, lots of Ash Barrens. And there's a Reaping the Graves. Okay. Let's cycle the Stinger. Cycle the Horror. Battle's a good one. I'm going to cast Songs here. And then cycle. Take a Cabal Writ. Now we can cast the Ploy to gain a bunch of life. Discard this Ash Barrens. The idea is just to create more storm, because our storm's still kind of low here. Cycle. Alright, now we can flashback the Ploy. Or jumpstart, let's use its correct term for once. Just raising our storm. And I'm going to keep the Blood Celebrant because it's more storm, but also color fixes. See if they try to kill it in response here. Nope. Alright, 20 mana, and this is going to be storm number 9. Okay. Oh no. You don't get to do that stuff. We're just going to filter a bunch of different colors here. Just in case. Alright, I will now allow you to kill my Blood Celebrant. Stinger. Let's bring back Street Wraiths. They're free to cycle, so it's just good. Bring back a healer. Who doesn't love dinosaurs? Let's bring back dinosaurs. As a kid, I loved Jurassic Park, so why wouldn't I want to bring back Imposing Mantisaur? Alright. Creatures coming back home. Stinger. Okay. Doesn't really do a whole lot, but sure. Alright, we do have to deal 20, so I could be cheeky here and play out the healer, but it's just not the right move. It doesn't actually help us at all, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I'll take another Stinger, though. And that just makes it so it's guaranteed lethal. We have 6 cyclers already, they're at 18. And our opponent is seeing the shotguns coming, and they've conceded. Game number 1 over Elves. So the Elves can be a matchup where you side in Darkness. It's actually pretty good there. They have Dispel, so it's just something to keep in mind that they can dispel your Darkness and get you that way. If you want to bring in Darkness, you're supposed to board out Architect of Will. Something like this. You can maybe board out the Ploy. Ploy's not at its best against Elves. It's just fine. Where Darkness can buy quite a bit of time. The problem with this plan is you're going down to 21 creatures where one of them is Blood Celebrant. So there's just less creatures in your deck for Songs of the Damned and Reap in the Grave. So you can become a little bit inconsistent, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. So I can't but wonder if maybe we do something like this then. I've never boarded like this, but I think I'm going to try it. I am up for trying things. This seems like a reasonable 7 cards to me. Alright. Ranger. Draw. I will take Reaping the Graves. I suppose I'll draw that card. You know, the card with Storm on it. Well-Wisher. I've never seen that version before. Commander 2014. Okay. Play Barrymore again and just pass the turn. Well-Wisher can be a bit of an issue if you allow it to be. Like, they can get so high on life that you can't kill them, so that's a little bit of a concern. And then on their turn, they can untap it, or just do it now, and then gain 4 more. So that's their game plan, is just get out of the range that my deck can deal. Alright, cycle the Dino. I've dealt as much as like 70, but it was also a pretty good draw that allowed me to do that. Alright, another Reaping the Grave, that's fine. Looking for land 3 here. I think I'm just supposed to cycle. And if I have to discard, I'll discard. Petal. Alright, so that would be card number 5 to the graveyard. This would be 6. We could actually start to go for it here if I want. Still have a land drop. I don't hate it. Alright, I guess we're going for it. All right, so cycle the Stinger. That's going to put us to 7 cards in graveyard. 2 mana floating, which is enough to cast Cabal Ritual. Cycle this Horror. A Stinger cycle. Ideally, we would hit Songs here. Sure. Boom! Ideally happened. Okay. I could maybe cycle this for a blue source later, so I think I'm supposed to hold it. Alright. So this is bringing back 6. We want to start on Street Wraith. And then it doesn't matter which other creatures because we're just going to cycle them anyway. So same thing as round number 1. We're going to keep... Sure. I don't care about you gaining life. That's fine. Alright, so we want to keep the most number of creatures possible in our graveyard. Alright, another Reaping the Graves. Like, I'm not going to turn down Reaping the Graves, but we just want to find creatures. Or not creatures, rituals at this point. Alright, I'll take a Street Wraith. Blue source, okay. Cycle. Cycle. Alright, Cabal is great. Cycle again. Keep going. See, that could have been another tutor effect, but... Or I guess it's 1 of 3 cards it could have been. Alright, so this is going to leave us with 4 mana floating. Alright, Street Wraith. So it's 3 Street Wraiths. Boom! That's a good one. I'll take it. 16 mana. Whoops, cancel. Reaping the Graves. Top card is Horror, that's fine. Alright, so you always want to start on Street Wraiths. Click on those, and then you can go back and get the others. And by always want to start on Street Wraiths, I mean most of the time. You just want to be able to cycle them early. Because, like, they just don't cost mana, so that's why you want to do it. You want to make your songs just have better potential. Alright. Cycle Stinger. Dark Writ. Dino. Blood Celebrant. You have to keep in mind that we don't have Ploy in the deck. So if I want to use this Blood Celebrant, I can't cycle any more Street Wraiths. Okay, another Songs. It's beautiful. Cycle. Teachings, and that can get the last Songs, actually. Alright, 19 cards left. Let's cast this. That gets the last Songs. And cycle the Baronmore here. We have a little bit of extra mana. Tolarian Winds. We will not be using that. Okay, Storm 15. Reaping the Graves. Time to return our stinging friends. Alright. I'm gonna skip over the Street Wraiths for now. I can always go back and get them if we have extra Storm at the end, and it looks like we do. I'm just probably not going to cycle them, so that's why I don't feel the need to just go grab them. Alright, so we're gonna give our opponent a little bit of life and cast these Stingers. They'll make up for it. Alright, we're at 3. Do we have another Stinger? We do. Okay, go to 2. Look at us now. Let's go to 1. Play this. So what this does is it will allow us later on in this turn to cycle those Street Wraiths for free. And that's why it's worth playing. Alright. Let's show them why those Well-Wishers didn't matter. Sting. Blood Celebrant's just so powerful. The fact that it color fixes so easily is just really nice. Alright, 12 cards. Cycle. Cycle. Dark Ritual, another healer. And they're back at 20, going down to 17. Another stinger it is. Let's cast another. And then I started blasting. So go. Wooch wooch. Darkness didn't really come up this match. That's fine. Okay, and you can never deck yourself as long as you don't mess up. You don't need to draw the card, so you can cycle without drawing, if you're wondering about that. I know that hasn't come up yet this league, but you don't have to draw the card. I auto-yielded to the draw, so it will, but our opponent will be dead before I deck. Right, cycle again. Turn 3, win in Pauper. Opponent was at roughly 40 life, never stood a chance. I'm not even speaking English. Look at us now. 2-0 in this league. 3 more rounds to come. Stick around. Cycle with me. Round 3, and we are on the play. Boom. Great hand. So with a hand like this, we have creatures, we have rituals. What are we lacking? Realistically, a second land. Do we need a second land? No, but it would help us with the speed aspect of our game, as well as maximizing what our cards do. So I'm going to be lazy and do this on my main phase. But assuming that we never hit a second land, we have to start our combo turn on songs, and it's not really what we want to do. Is this Bully or like the Mono White Heroic deck? It might be Mono White Heroic. Okay. So no second land yet. All right, looking like just a, you know. Let's cycle this for the island because I'd like to set up a Tolarian Winds play this game. So out of a deck like this, I have to be cautious of 2 things. The first being Mana Tithe, and the second being Prismatic Strands. We're gonna take 2 here. All right. And they might just be representing Prismatic Strands. We're going to pass. Okay, so that's a 3-3 now. Sure. They've played a land, so Prismatic Strands is off the table. This might be our opportunity. Let's cycle this healer. Wraith is a good one. Cycle Horror. Love the Cabal Ritual. Draw. Vantasaur, okay. Cycle this Street Wraith. Doing well so far. Cabal Ritual. Cabal Ritual. Cycle. Cycle. I'm going to keep that pedal in hand to discard the Tolarian Winds. I'd rather convert that into an additional draw. Okay, so change of plans now. What we're going to do is we're going to... How do I want to do this? I guess I want to cast the songs because I want mana to do both of these. Now hold priority, cast Tolarian Winds. And now we're going to Reaping the Graves for 7. Okay. Street Wraith, Street Wraith. Then we can just start from the top. Click, click. Alright, and then I can cycle these. Cycle. Alright, how many creatures are in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, those are already being returned. So I might as well let these be returned so I don't mess this up. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so 7. And then 8. This maximizes how many cards we see. All right, and now we return 8 creatures. And this basically just allows us to cheat all of the mana that we would spend cycling through our deck. And that's the beauty of Tolarian Winds. This is going to end up being a draw 15 or so. I actually guessed it on the money. Draw 15. Boom. You love to see it. And now just winning is super easy for us. Okay. Guess we can cast a Stinger. Cycle. 18 cards left in our deck. 3 Stingers in the bin. Alright. At this point, we just have to go through the motions. Songs, infinite mana, reaping the graves. Let's bring our friends back. From 16. Halfway through clicking here. Okay, and now they will be returned. Alright, almost done. And then we'll cast our Stinger. Alright, our opponent just conceded. They saw the writing on the wall. Thank you, opponent. Alright, so white cards, we have to be cautious of Prismatic Strands. It's just not a card we want to lose to. Let's bring in our Flaring Pain. And we could probably just board out an Architect and a Petal. Call it a day. Don't really want to over sideboard here. We did see that our opponent was on white cards, but the white aggro decks like this, like, I'm not convinced that our opponent is actually on Heroic. It could just be like white weenie. And if that's the case, I don't really want to water my deck down by bringing in Darkness. Because like a generic white weenie strategy isn't going to kill me before turn 5 or 6. So I don't want to have cards like Darkness clogging up on my combo turn. Okay, this seems pretty good. With a hand like this, we just want to find Reaping the Graves and Songs of the Damned. Okay. I guess what I could have done is I could have hedged a little bit for Relic of Progenitus by bringing at least one Shredded Sails. And they just kept a hand that doesn't do anything. Makes me nervous. Draw. Alright, so good start. We drew both a Ritual and Reaping the Graves, which are things that we needed. Alright, they must have opened up on Prismatic Strands. The only thing that makes this sense, or this keep makes sense. Let's cycle the Healer. Looking for land. I mean, boo-hoo. Looking for land, draws best card in deck. Cycle here. Should I just be trying to win? I think I'm going to pass. Oh, they definitely have Prismatic Strands if they're just playing a 1-drop. Oh, you have a Palace Sentinels. That's fine. I will allow it. You can be the Monarch. Alright. So, I don't know if we're going to hold on to these songs here. I don't really want to use them yet. I almost want to. So if I guess I'm only leaving one creature in the graveyard, so I might as well just use this. Alright, Street Wraith, then the others. Alright, let's cycle these. Trying to increase the number of creatures in our graveyard. Perfect. Cycle. Going swell. Cycle. So much mana. Alright. 37 cards left in deck. Another Mystical Teachings. Didn't really need that, but that's fine. Cycle this. There's our Flaring Pain. Alright, let's cast Teachings. We want to get another Reaping the Graves. Okay. Storm is 9. So we can cast this again. And what we're going to do is the same thing we just did. We're going to start by bringing back Street Wraiths. And then we will cycle them and then eventually cast songs once we need to. Because this just gives us the most opportunities to get creatures in the graveyard for the songs. Okay, so now we're down to 4. We can cycle this. And that. And now we have to cast the songs. There's 10 creatures. And then we can cycle this. I don't think I want to cycle the Baron more. It's a little bit wasteful in my opinion. Okay. Just keep cycling. Ooh. I do like hitting that. Blood Celebrant, my very good friend. We're at 4 life, so we have to keep that in mind. Okay. And I believe that this is our last copy of Songs of the Dam, so we need to make it count. Cycle 21 cards. I don't think I'm going to cycle that. I do have a Ploy in the deck somewhere, but that doesn't really matter. Oh, there's this Songs in my hand too. I forgot about that one. Like a dummy. Yeah, let's just cast this. Convert to blue. Teachings. They're Reaping the Graves. I think I can just cast it and start winning. I don't really need a Tolarian Winds. Alright, we can just return everything. Alright, and then just click. Return our threats. And once again, I'm going to play out a healer because healer will allow us to cycle these 4 copies of Street Wraith later on. Alright, so let's go down to 2. Player healer. Stinger. Stinger. Okay. Whoops. I want to cycle you. I don't really want to cast you, Horror. I do love winning with you. Attacking with you is one of the most fun things about this deck. But not the right time. You gotta chill out. Alright. Cycle. It's like so much fun. I would love to cast another Stinger. Thank you. And I'm sure by now you've noticed this league how good Blood Celebrant actually is. Like, it is really dumb. Like, I think that this was the card that I was missing the entire time that I was playing this deck. Because I would, like, going back and looking at my older videos, you would notice there would be some games where I just ran out of colored sources and would have to concede the game. And it's just not the case anymore. So you win way more often than you used to. Okay, there's our Ploy. I can actually cast it and gain a metric buttload of life. I just don't know why we would. Just cycle instead. Kill our opponent dead. Actually, let's kill our opponent with Ash Barrens. Ugh. Death by Ash Barrens. And we are 3-0. I don't know what to call this deck. I could call it Mono White Monarch or just White Weenie. I'm not sure. Let me know what you think. Round number 4 coming up. Alright. We've opened up lands and spells. We'll keep it, I suppose. What are you playing, opponent? That is the real question here. Plains, Slivers. Our hand might be a little bit slow for this matchup. Making me nervous. Also, the last time that I faced Slivers, they had like 3 or 4 copies of Fairy Macabre on the board, and that did a number on me. So winning game 1 is pretty important, and we've opened up kind of a slow draw. Another Ash Barrens, I don't love that. Okay, so let's go get Island. And cycle the Dino. Okay. Yikes. Okay, so we're taking 6 here. Draw. Alright, I think I'm supposed to just play the Barrens and pass. So I'm going to hope that they don't try to kill me here. They have 3 cards. So if they... Poisonous, I don't care about that one. Is this a pump? It is a pump, so that's 12 now. So what I need to do is play the Ploy to stay alive. And this will put me to 1. It stinks because if I draw into Street Wraith, I can't really use it. Let's just discard the Ash Barrens. Yeah, so now I go to 1. And we have like no creatures in our graveyard, so I think I probably just lost this game. Start off on casting this Dark Rit. Cycle. Okay, cycle Stinger off the colorless. That's 7 cards in graveyard for Cabal Ritual. Cycle Healer. I wonder if I could just like... No, there's no way I could gain enough life to live this turn. I have like 20 damage in play. What am I thinking? Alright, so we're praying for a miracle here. So in theory I could Teachings for Songs, but Songs still wouldn't make much mana. 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 4. It would actually cost me a mana. So let's cycle this healer. Maybe to cycle Baron more. End of the road, fellas. Alright. Womp womp. We did not get game number 1 against Slivers. Let's bring in our Darkness. Probably take out the Architects here. Also take out the Ploy. Do like this sort of thing again. Let's try it. I don't know how much I like this sideboard strategy right now. I haven't really figured out what I like with Darkness, so it's kind of tough. Like, do I just board out more creatures? I'm not sure. We'll try this. Double Darkness can buy some time. Alright, Baron Moore, go. Forest and the Poison Sliver, sure. Alright, cycle Vantasaur. We're looking for land 2. I'm going to cycle the Street Wraith. We did not hit. We have to pass. They named Red. That's interesting. Double Poison Sliver. So I'm going to get 2 poison here. That hurt. Cycle. And I missed. I think I'm going to play this out. So I could go to discard there and like discard a creature, but I think we do want to just like cycle a bunch. So if my memory serves me correctly, I would get 4 poison here, up to 6 poison. And it looks like that is in fact the case. All right, draw. We need a land, come on. Killing me, Smalls. So I think I'm supposed to discard Teachings, especially because I'm about to start casting Darkness, and I'm not going to have a blue source. What is this? It's a weird card to port in, sure. You got it. Okay. Cast our Darkness. What's going to happen is, like, I failed to draw a second land this entire game, and then I'm going to start comboing off at some point and just not... I'm going to draw in all lands and fizzle. This is so bad right now. I just have to pass here. This Tolarian Winds is garbage because I shouldn't have let them. I should have cast the Darkness in their upkeep. I'm just gonna Darkness. The Songs of the Damned is embarrassing because, like, I'm not really getting good use out of it. It's just like 4 mana is not enough to win the game. Sure. Yep. For what it's worth, Darkness was better than any of the cards that I boarded out. It's just like our draw this game is really awkward. Alright, now we're forced to cast the Songs for 4 whole mana. Just hope for the best. Cycle. Cycle again. Unfortunately, I had to do it this way. Alright, so this is going to return 4 whole creatures. We're at 13, so we can bring back the Street Wraith. Street Wraith, or it doesn't really matter all that much. Cycle. Okay. Maybe we can set up a Tolarian Winds. That could get us back into this game. Okay. That could be our blue source. Need more mana, though. Alright, so Storm is 6. So this would be for 7. Alright, we're going to start on Street Wraiths again. We're at 9, so we get a few extra draws. Cycle. Cycle. Kind of nervous here. I feel like we're at the end of the line where I'm not going to hit. Okay. Cycle. Come on. Yikes. Alright. Come on, Cabal Ritual. Gonna be one card sooner. I do have a land drop, but I can't cast this. So that means that we are in fact dead. I could have Tolarian Winds plus Reaping the Graves, and it would have drawn me roughly 8 cards. So I guess we can concede and draw like 4 more and see what we would have hit. We would have been able to live if we had a darkness in there either, because we had 1 darkness left. But we didn't get there. It happens. Not going to dwell on it. Let's just draw a few more. So darkness would have kept us alive for like 1 more turn, but we would have lost all of our storm count. And we would have lost our Reaping the Graves as well, because you don't get to choose with Tolarian Winds. It's your entire hand. So we would have had 1 Reaping the Graves left to win with. So realistically, we probably would have had like these cards in our hand. I don't know if we would have got it anyway. But 1 more match left to go. Let's just try to get it finished strong with a 4-1. Okay, the last one, the 5th match. Let's just try to finish strong here. And this hand, it's close. I don't know how I feel about it. Only 1 cycler. Alright, so the way that I'm going to look at this hand is that this is a mulligan to 6. And by that I mean we're going to play Lotus Petal, cycle Ash Barrens for Swamp, and then cycle Horror. As a 6-card hand, I would keep this. So why not keep it as a 7? We do want to draw more creatures off of the cycles. That's one thing we really need to happen here. But it's still a keep. Alright, cycle. Okay. I don't love that. Cycle. I'm gonna skip on the island for now. Okay. Only 2 creatures. So this is likely familiars. Draw. This is what I was afraid of. Ponder. Did not shuffle. Okay. I'll take a dino. Cycle. Ploy. I think I'm just gonna pass. Preordain. 2 on the bottom. And another crew. Okay. They tend to play like, I think like 3 main deck Prohibit. I could maybe look that up. Maybe I wasn't supposed to play that out because it turns on Snap. That might have been a mistake. That's annoying. Okay. So that's going to make this game like the old list that just didn't have it in there. So these Lotus Petals just became a little bit more valuable. Cycle. That's 5 creatures. Okay, so we could try to win now. Dark Ritual. And there's 1 other 3 counter spells. So what we can do is we can play Petal songs into these rituals. But keep in mind, there's only, after this Lotus Petal, there's only 1 left in the deck. So we really need to make them count. All right, Street Wraiths. quick. Cycle. That was good. Love you, Dark Ritual. Keep cycling. Teachings is awkward because we don't really want to spend the blue mana. Cycle. Alright, and then cycle this. Alright, so now it's better to cycle these in case we get creatures for the songs. Just getting deeper into the deck. And now we're left with a pretty interesting decision here. Do we cast Tolarian Winds to get super deep into our deck? We would have to win off of one Stinger, and they're at 23. It's a tough choice. 3 songs down, so the last songs would have to be bananas. I mean, I don't hate it. So we can also make this songs better by stacking it like this. And then Reaping the Graves. Street Rates. Okay, click on all this stuff. Cycle. 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 Alright, so we had another Reaping the Graves. That actually stunk. I didn't want to do that. I knew it was part of the risk with the play that I was making. So how many creatures do we have in graveyard? 3. So it's not really worth casting, in my opinion. I think we let it go. Alright, and we should probably cycle a little bit before this song resolves. We have 1 Reaping the Graves left. We do have teachings for it, but like I said, mana's probably going to be the choke point, and there's the Reaping the Graves. Okay. There's the Petal. Alright, so I think at this point we should stop. Alright, Storm's 18. I don't know if we have enough creatures to do this. Alright. I think them being at 23 is honestly a pretty big difference maker here. And me being a real dummy and playing out my my Blood Celebrant. I think they got me. And drawing the second Reaping the Graves there really bit me. I think I don't think I'm gonna win this. I think I'm gonna end up decking myself and not being able to deal them. Like, I'm gonna be like 2 or 3 points short. It's just like the perfect storm of things that went wrong this game. Because not only do we lose Celebrant, I also started this game down 2 Lotus Petals. Ooh, I have Ash Barrens that I didn't think of. Okay, we might be able to do this. I forgot about our cycle lands. It might be possible. Right. Going down to 2 cards. Alright, so after this next cycle, we will have 1 card in our deck. Alright, so that's the last draw trigger that we can let resolve. I'm going to turn off my auto yields right now, just to make sure. They're at 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is going to be for Xaxes, because I can only cycle 3 of these Street Wraiths. Alright. This is going to be an Xaxes win. How about that? Okay. Better lucky than good, because I certainly didn't play this one as well as I could have. Okay. Woot woot! Oh, talk about cutting it close. Look at that. Wow. Alright. So I should not make that same mistake again. Bring in our Pyros, our Dispels. Board out a Petal. Board out these Architects. And then Tolarian Winds. You could argue that maybe you want to keep in Winds over Ploy, But I like keeping in Ploy for keeping on the street rates and the Celebrant. And I don't know. We just saw Tolarian Winds burn me a little bit. This seems fine-ish. Ponder. Okay. Pass end step cycle. And the main phase brainstorm. Alright, let's cycle our horror. Not a land. Draw. There we go. So the question is whether or not I want to get the island for Dispel or the cycler. I think I want to get the island. I think long term the island just makes a lot of sense. Don't want to be too short-sighted and only think about the immediate cycle. That's fine. Draw. Cycle. Okay. This might not be familiars. This might just be blue-white ephemerate. Sure. Or blue-white flicker, I think people are calling it. Ouch. Take that hit. And our opponent is going to pass. We'll cycle Street Wraith. Looking for cyclers here. Boom. Come on, give me another. I'll take the Ash Barrens. Pull them out of the deck. Okay. And right now would be a good opportunity where, let's say our opponent cast a bunch of cantrips on their turn, and like ephemerates and stuff, I would play Reaping the Graves for value. I really would. Alright, they're at 28. I don't know how I feel about only Reaping the Graves for 2, though. Draw. This might be a go turn. Stinger. I like Stinger. Dark Ritual. Ball Ritual. Okay. How many creatures do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Reaping the Graves is already enough. I'm gonna cycle this. I thought about like playing it out for Swarm, but I don't think that's right. Okay. Bring back the Stinger. Street Wraith. Street Wraith. Sorry, I definitely like didn't click on one of the ones that I thought I did there, but I'm not sure which one it was. Cycle these. Down to 8 life. These dark arts were great draws. Okay. Cycle. Can I get a Songs of the Damned? Cycle. Cycle. Come on, give me a Songs. I'll take a Cabal Rat. Okay. Cycle this. Honestly, I'm considering getting a healer here and just playing healer and cycling a little bit. Alright, so... Because I don't think I'm going to be able to keep winning this turn. We're halfway through our deck and we haven't found a Songs yet. So I think I might seriously just get healer and play it and cycle. Try to stay alive. Okay, cycle this for white. Healer. I feel like if I play Stinger, it's just going to get Hydroblasted. So I'm not in love with the idea of playing that. I think I just want to cycle. Probably shouldn't have. I could have started on the street rates, I suppose. Cycle these. So this is going to put me to 7. Pretty safe life total. Still not quite sure what my game plan is right now. I did just waste a bunch of Storm and 2 of my Reaping the Graves. I'll get rid of these lands that are kind of bad. I'm not going to play another healer. Okay. So we're going to fall to 4. And our opponent's passing. Draw. Well, there's a Songs. Alright, so like I said, I'm guessing that they have like Hydroblast here. Interesting. Get in there. All right. So healer. I didn't really want to make that play, but they kind of forced my hand. All right, 6 cards in the graveyard. Does this resolve? I think I'm supposed to fight. All right, you got me that time. So now I'm also forced, I'm in a position where I have to block. So if they have removal spell for Stinger, I'm just dead. All right. They're definitely ahead in this game. Draw. Play Stinger. They have 3 cards. Time to get in there again. And pass the turn. Dispel. Okay, so our Stinger will die. I can cycle and stay alive. I'm not dead here. I guess I should have waited till they attacked. But they're going to attack me anyway. It doesn't really matter. Alright, Blood Celebrant. It is a blocker. Draw. I could also play Horror of the Broken Lands. Alright, so this would be... they have a Dispel. Sure. Okay, so let's play our Horror. And Blood Celebrant. I'm an aggro deck. Hear me roar. If you have double removal spell, you wanted it more. Preordain. What is that? Exile a card from a graveyard, destroy an enchantment, you gain 2 life. Okay. That's gonna hold back my healer. Okay. Draw. Get in there with our Horror. And this is definitely just blue-white flicker and not familiars. 23 cards left in deck. So what I could do here is I could cycle to go up to 2, pay a black, and then play another healer. So why don't we just cycle? It's like kind of free to do. I need to not time out though, because we're down to 9 minutes already. Play another healer. They have 1 card in hand. The Songs isn't doing a whole lot of good anymore. Well, that's awkward. Those birds are not good for me. Come on, Cycler. Okay. Let's just attack with a Horror. Okay. No need to cycle right then. I can always do it because I want them to attack with both. Cycle. That at least keeps me on a break even. They can bring this back. Oh, no, it's an evoke. Never mind. I thought that came back. My bad. Cycle this as well. Why not? I just missed out on damage. That's why not. Dummy. Alright, well, that was an amazing draw. Alright, so they have 2 cards in hand and one of them is a land. Can I win here? Let's cycle. Okay, that was... Wow. Even if their last card is a counter here, I think that might have done it. Alright, so now it's Teachings. Go get Reaping the Graves. Actually, let's get Songs. Flashback. Then we get Reaping the Graves. You can play this game as badly as me and still win with this deck. That's what the main lesson here. You decided to target that? You should know better. Get out of here. Alright. And now, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay. Oh, our opponent conceded. 4-1. I really like this deck list despite losing to Slivers. I think our draws in that match just weren't very good. Hopefully you enjoyed watching it. Cycle Storm is the best Storm deck in Pioneer. Pauper. I truly believe that. And if you want to be playing Storm combo, you should be playing this deck. Can't convince me otherwise. It's just great. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you thought. Maybe you disagree with me, or maybe you thought that there should be a different card in here. I'm always willing to try things and learn, so feel free to share. Keep storming, you're beautiful, and have a great day. Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.